Welcome to the Topical Capacity Building component of the Housing Activities module. As a reminder, the Topical Capacity Building component is intended to provide more details on one or more components that were covered briefly during the live training session. In this session, we will learn how communities can design impactful housing programs. We will also find out how to use lump sum drawdowns to facilitate rehabilitation projects. The CDBG program provides flexibility to design housing programs that target the specific housing needs of the residents. CDBG grantees and units of general local government may offer several types of assistance for housing programs. The types of assistance include grants, loans, loan guarantees, and interest subsidies. Another way of targeting housing assistance to those most in need is determining the appropriate household income levels that require assistance. Determining income levels is possible using data from the American Community Survey 5-year estimates. Some communities design programs that initially target those most in need at the extremely low income or low income levels first, before opening the program to households earning moderate income. CDBG grantees and units of general local government may also target housing assistance through specific activity types. For example, targeting assistance for owner-occupied housing rehabilitation is appropriate if a community's housing stock is very old or if a significant portion of single-family dwellings are occupied by extremely low and low-income households, particularly those with elderly or disabled members, or if an area has numerous vacant, abandoned homes and exhibits extensive deterioration. Local code enforcement data also support this investment strategy if there are a high number of violations in a particular area. A housing rehabilitation activity may also be designed to address only specific types of repairs, such as emergency repairs, weatherization, or exterior improvements, as noted by some example activity IDIS matrix codes shown on the screen. Activities targeting home ownership assistance, another example, is assistance to first-time home buyers, an activity that addresses housing needs in markets experiencing increases in median sales prices that have low levels of available housing inventory, or when mortgage rates or underwriting terms are not favorable. Home ownership assistance may be provided as a public service, where the home buyer receives down payment assistance from CDBG public service funds. This grant or loan of CDBG funds may subsidize all or a portion of the home buyer's down payment. Alternatively, direct home ownership assistance may be provided for up to 50% of the required down payment, for reasonable closing costs, and/or for principal write-down in order to make the housing more affordable. The choice of which type of home buyer assistance to provide is usually informed by the level of assistance that is generally necessary to make housing opportunities affordable for low and moderate income households. The CDBG program provides several ways for communities across the country to address housing needs. For additional information, please review CPD Notice 07-08, Use of CDBG Program Funds in Support of Housing, and visit www.hudexchange.info. Another tool that is available to finance housing for low and moderate individuals who are in need of housing is the lump sum drawdown. CDBG grantees and units of general local government may draw CDBG funds in a lump sum to establish a rehabilitation fund in one or more private financial institutions to finance housing rehabilitation activities. Normally, CDBG funds are drawn from HUD's IDIS system, as they are needed for activity costs that are incurred over time, rather than as a lump sum at the beginning of the project. A single activity may have several drawdowns in order to comply with the uniform administrative requirements, which prohibit drawdowns in advance of cash need. However, Section 104H of the Housing and Community Development Act authorizes CDBG grantees and units of general local government to draw down funds from its grant in a lump sum if the funds will be deposited in a private financial institution and used as a revolving loan fund to finance eligible rehabilitation activities. Such financing may include loans, interest subsidies, loan guarantees, loan reserves, or other forms of financing if approved by HUD. Lump sum drawdown is only allowable if certain conditions are met. First, the Housing Rehabilitation Fund may be used to finance the rehabilitation of privately owned residential properties, in addition to commercial or industrial buildings, as well as nonprofit-owned non-residential buildings and improvements that are not public facilities and improvements. If assisting for a profit-owned property, the rehabilitation must be limited to exterior improvements and the correction of code violations. For profit-owned properties that require more extensive renovations may be financed with a lump sum drawdown only if the rehabilitation is a special economic development activity. Second, the CDBG grantee or unit of general local government must execute a written agreement with each private financial institution that will hold and disperse CDBG funds drawn from a lump sum. The written agreement must contain provisions in accordance with the CDBG regulations, including a limitation on drawdown of grant funds, a time period to undertake activities, and time limits on deposited funds, return of unused deposits, provision of consideration such as interest payments from the private financial institution and program income. For more information on the specific requirements for lump sum drawdown, refer to Notice CPD 17-14, Lump Sum Drawdown Requirements in the CDBG Program. Thank you for watching the Topical Capacity Building component of the Housing Activities module. We learned different forms of financial assistance that communities provide in their housing programs to serve low and moderate income individuals. We also learned the proper way to use lump sum drawdowns to facilitate rehabilitation projects. Please proceed to the reinforced component of this module for a brief quiz.